This time, the grading color comeback of the Huawei P20 series. How does everyone feel about it? Personally, the more I look at this emerald lake green, the more I like it. I've been taking photos with the Huawei P20 Pro Max for a few days now, and this time I even arranged for Xiaobai to be my model. I have a pretty clear feeling, so first, is the photo quality of the Huawei P20 Pro Max strong or not? Of course it's strong. Whether it's the new 200 million RYYB macro telephoto or its image quality and stability, there's nothing to criticize. In fact, the overall completeness is the highest among the recent generations of P2 flagships. However, Huawei doesn't seem to be satisfied with this. I actually had this feeling since the previous generation P20 and the selling points of the new Mate 8 Pro Max have repeatedly confirmed my judgment. Huawei is no longer content with just step-by-step improvements in basic image quality. In terms of actively helping users create as AI capabilities rise, what can be put into practice? Do those old problems that trouble users have new era solutions? Huawei's current generation of products has been trying to explore and answer this. Today, I want to share some thoughts based on the actual sample photos and feature demonstrations of the P20 Pro Max. In the era of AI, if the super resolution and generation capabilities of the large model era can achieve this, then how should smartphone manufacturers define an imaging flagship? Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of 2 Century Eggs. I'm Chu Hao. First, let's talk about 2 basic improvements in image quality. The first is the newly upgraded 200 million pixel RYYB with macro function support for both front and rear telephoto. Each of these features alone isn't new, but combining them all together is a first in the industry. For Huawei, this time with the new processor and the new telephoto module, the pressure of effect tuning is still very high. However, from my actual shots, whether in outdoor daylight scenes or indoors at an art gallery exhibition, the telephoto imaging is very solid. In photography, turning on high quality mode activates the 25 million pixel direct output. When zooming in to look at details, even when capturing moving small animals, the hair is very clear. Chengdu CPA is quite a mysterious place, with various small animals casually wandering on the roads on that island. In indoor, low-light environments, the excellent image quality proves that Huawei's algorithm is quite strong. As for general scenes, I won't go into detail. In this scene, it was almost completely dark, with only the background projection emitting light, and the brightness changed very quickly. The P20 Pro Max accurately captured the moment I wanted, creating a very atmospheric feel, and the image quality was still usable. In the same scene, the lighting is very dim, and the ISO is pushed to 2000. But even so, when looking at the thumbnail, you still feel the photo is very clear and sharp. At the same time, the colors of the flowers in the foreground and the background wall are well reproduced, and the contribution of the algorithm here is indispensable. Furthermore, this 200 million pixel sensor also supports full pixel output, and after activating the high pixel mode, selecting 200 million pixels can enable the function. In this mode, Huawei has implemented a multi-level strategy for user experience, where the full pixel output mode can only be truly activated when there is a definite benefit from the 200 million pixels. For example, in bright and relatively still scenes, I tried several outdoor scenarios, and after activation, there was indeed a noticeable improvement in clarity. The eye makeup of Xiaobai, the strands of hair, and the fur details of Xiaoyuan in the image are all very clear. Moreover, with higher pixels, you can indeed do as you please to a certain extent. For example, when I look back at this photo, I felt that the upper left corner of the image had a bit of visual interference. At this point, you can recompose the image later or crop it to a cinematic aspect ratio, and you would still have around 14 to 15 million pixels left, which is more than enough for posting on social media. And you must have also noticed that many of the photos in this episode have the X-Mage color card watermark. This time, the X-Mage color card feature has also received an important upgrade. In addition to the original color palette, adjustments for noise and vignetting have been added, with multiple levels available. You can adjust according to your needs and aesthetic preferences, offering flexibility. This time, I myself used the film and cinema color cards a lot. These 2 color card styles are already very rich, and when you add a bit of noise and vignetting, the flavor becomes even stronger. Moreover, with Huawei's Hongfeng providing the basic white balance effect and then layering these color styles, the effect is more stable and the scene adaptability is better, making it versatile for both portraits and landscapes. Apart from photographing food, I use the original color, while for other scenes, I almost always use the cinema and film styles. Then I discovered that when Huawei was planning the first generation of color cards, they had already reserved room for future upgrades. Because even after adding these 2 adjustments, the color card code is still 7 digits, with 1 digit not yet used. So I am very much looking forward to what effect adjustments they will add in the future. Overall, Huawei has made significant improvements in the basic imaging performance and stability of the P20 Pro Max generation, especially in the effect of the 200 million telephoto, personalized style definition, gives me the most intuitive feeling that is more user-friendly and easier to shoot with. There are even many scenes that can give me unexpected surprises. Next, let's talk about smart photography. Huawei specifically emphasized the new generation Kirin chip 9030S at the launch event, which has significant upgrades in the MPU and ASP, even supporting 200 million pixel raw domain processing. All these technical reserves can lay a good foundation for X-Mage smart photography. If the basic functions provide a solid foundation for pure photography, then X-Mage Smart Photography is the next technological high ground Huawei is betting on. Its success will give every user the opportunity to maximize the product's capabilities. Tracing back the history of AI feature recommendations, it goes quite far back. I personally remember it should be as early as the P20 or P30 era, where scene recognition and effect enhancement were based on the preview screen. But at that time, the chips and AI computing power were too weak to support the system in truly understanding the content of the image and the user's complex photography intentions. However, after the arrival of AI large models, things have changed. Assuming AI capabilities become strong enough, it can truly intelligently recommend different functions and effects to users, even semi-assist in teaching them how to take photos, fully utilizing the capabilities of the imaging flagship. This is a significant pain point in the vast lower-tier markets. Everyone sees this issue, but the problem is that the delay in running models on phones needs to be low, which is very difficult. So we can also see some manufacturers choose to postpone this action, allowing users to take the photo first and then perform secondary beautification and enhancement in the gallery. However, in this situation, since the photo is already taken, the gallery is working with already compressed information and doesn't truly know what the environment was like, so what can be done is often quite limited. Tackling the tough challenge of real-time analysis with local models is something that will eventually have to be addressed. On the P90 Pro Max, the X-Mage Smart Photography entry is actually very prominent among the monochrome icons. It currently integrates 3 functions: AI-assisted composition, X-Mage color palette, and AI pose recommendation. The assisted composition is easy to understand. Many people only use the default wide angle for photography, perhaps because they don't know how to use it or have no concept of which scenes are better suited for which lens. At this point, if you turn on the composition assistant, you will see these white points of interest in the frame, which are the potential photo intentions identified by AI. For example, if you aim at this point of interest, the camera will automatically help you compose the shot based on the content in the frame. Some of these are zoomed in and some are zoomed out. Since we are mostly shooting small scenes this time, most of them require us to zoom in and use the telephoto lens for close-ups. But if you're shooting landscapes outdoors, it also supports zooming to ultra-wide angle to help you compose. This means that the input to the AI might not only be based on the preview, but also judged based on the ultra-wide angle to obtain the most environmental information. In my tests, its latency is sufficiently low, though I hope it can be even lower. It also won't force recommendations without points of interest. Most of the white points it marks are indeed the content I want to capture. After it helps you zoom in, you only need to slightly adjust the composition to take the photo. This proactive composition assistance, which uses telephoto to record information, definitely results in better image quality than just using a wide-angle lens to capture a rough shot, and then making significant crops in the gallery. At the same time, it also supports X-Mage color card recommendations, helping you match more suitable color styles. Moreover, I noticed a detail. The recommended color cards are not just default parameters, but also include vibrant fauvism style parameters, additionally set by the official team, which is very thoughtful. Finally, there's the AI pose recommendation they mainly promote, which is likely aimed at the many men who struggle to take good photos of their girlfriends. From my own experience, the poses suggested aren't fixed combinations, but are intelligently matched to your environment. You can see from these screenshots that the recommended poses generally fit the environment we're in. Secondly, besides providing a pose frame, it also includes a reference image, which is extremely useful. This way, you don't have to abstractly describe to the subject how to pose. You can discuss and choose a satisfactory pose beforehand, then use the reference image to communicate, which greatly reduces communication costs and is very beneficial for family harmony. And if you can prepare a bit more in advance, when making travel plans, you can save screenshots of posts where others have taken good photos. Then import it into their library of poses, and once at the location, replicate it one-to-one. This efficiency, this way of producing content, is something I'm experiencing for the first time. I know some might say, isn't this just taking what's ready-made? However, making it as simple as possible for users to produce videos is precisely what manufacturers strive to do. And users indeed need this kind of functionality. Additionally, I want to say that when it comes to photography, the state is actually very important, and a good state may come from repeated positive feedback.
Moreover, this positive feedback is mutual. When you take beautiful photos of your best friend or girlfriend, she will become more relaxed and her expressions will be more on point. Meanwhile, you will become more confident, feeling that the product was worth buying and easy to use. In the past, this required a lot of time for practice and trial and error. Now, suddenly having someone to guide you step by step, how could user satisfaction not be high?
Behind all of this is Huawei's technical capability in the AI field. Integrating these functions requires low latency and high accuracy. And not only are they equipped on the Pro Max models, but all the smart photography features are also covered on the Pro models. This engineering capability and the overall experience delivered, I really have never seen in products from other brands. Now, with this explanation, everyone should understand what Huawei is doing. Mobile photography inherits from traditional photography, and then, due to the invention of computational photography, it transformed from a follower to a leader. Now, as computational photography has brought photo effects to a certain standard, the functions are increasing, and the effects are becoming more refined, but it hasn't become easier for users. Instead, the learning cost has increased. This is somewhat like recommendation algorithms for content platforms. When the content on your platform is rich enough, you naturally use recommendation algorithms to replace traditional search and sorting. Similarly, cameras also need a complete AI recommendation algorithm to assist users in completing the final step of the photography journey. In this regard, I can responsibly say that Huawei has indeed taken the lead among all manufacturers. Although I dare not say that Huawei's solution is definitely the most reasonable. It is indeed the most detailed and complete under the current technical solutions. Moreover, they have given us a glimpse of the future of imaging with another feature, which is the three-dimensional live photos this time. I remember in the past 2 years on HTC, Gaussian Swordsman generating 3D models has always been an important part of the press conference, and this time's 3D live photo, I guess, is an early implementation of a similar technical solution. If we can use an updated technical solution to generate very realistic three-dimensional images from just the video in live photos without needing binocular imaging, I think this might offer another possibility for spatial photos. Moreover, you see, at this point, AI will in turn demand that the technical quality of the video be good enough, so the basic effect and AI algorithms complement and achieve each other. In summary, the P60 Pro Max is the culmination of Huawei's imaging efforts. It not only achieves a high level of technical image quality, but also seems to define a new paradigm for the flagship of the new era, which they call the smart photography flagship. Through years of development and planning across several generations of products, Huawei finally sees that glimmer in the dawn of a long night.